Hey Josh, what's up, man?
Hey, dude. Not much.
Why don't you have any of your stupid lights on?
Ever since surgery, I can't get around the room to plug them in and stuff.
What surgery?
The hip surgery I had last week. Have you not been watching our channel? I literally post about it every day.
I don't watch this shit. Are you kidding?
You don't watch our own show?
No, I watch Joe Rogan and good shows.
You're gonna want to watch today's episode, though. Let me tell you what.
Okay.
Today's episode, we got a great guest. His name's Joe Fells. Great dude. Yeah, he did go to jail for a little bit, but awesome guy. And I think people are really going to enjoy his second story. Welcome to Second Story, everybody. I'm Josh Sabalski. With me, as always, is Corey Leckie. Corey, what's going on?
Nothing, man. What's going on with you?
Just living, buddy. Just living. Today, we got a special guest with us, and I just realized that I forgot the pronunciation of your last name, so I might completely mess it up, but that's okay. We got with us today, influencer, real estate extraordinaire. I don't know what else to call you. Joe Fells. Joe, what's going on?
Man, drinking a beer in my van.
How'd I do? How'd I do on your last name? Was I close?
Dude, you know what? You nailed it. And the craziest thing about it, it's the Z fucks them up. If it was FELS, everybody knock it out of the park. Fells.
Yeah.
You got it there, dog. It actually is German.
Well, it
Very
seemed
nice.
like Fells to me. I don't know where the confusion was.
Well, I'm dyslexic.
Okay.
That's where the confusion was for me.
So you thought it was an S?
Yeah, no, maybe. I don't know. Anyways, so Joe is probably, I would have to put you down as one of the most interesting people that I've ever come across. Your story, just really everything about what it is that you're doing. So I'm very excited to talk to you, and we're very excited to have you here today. So we are Second Story, of course. We like to talk to people who have undergone a major change in their life that sent them down a different path. You've had a few. You've talked to me about them. We're going to try to narrow it down to maybe one or two today. So we're going to start with your second story. So the floor is yours, Joe.
Well, like you said, I've had a few second stories, but I think the most marked and contrasting one would be, going from fresh out of prison to self-made millionaire in a span of about 10 years. I mean, I got out of prison on 8, 9, 10, and I was penniless. I had $50, the clothes on my back, and the love of my family. I paroled out to the house I grew up in Augusta, Sandy Run Court. That's where Sandy Run original comes from. That was on 8, 9, 10, and then again on 8, 9, 22, I packed everything in a van, disillusioned with modern life, and left for the West Coast, a self-made millionaire and a bit of a real estate mogul right here in Augusta.
So just to give people an idea of how you've done in real estate, at this point in time, how many real estate properties do you have? If you don't mind saying.
I really don't keep up with it, but it's 65-ish. I don't know. I mean, I really don't. How much money's in your bank account? I have no fucking clue. Enough. So, but really 60, 65-ish. Most of them are in Georgia. I do have vacation Airbnbs in Tennessee and Washington State. I did have one in Carolina, but I sold it because me and the HOA didn't quite see eye to eye. Man, I have them. Most of them are rental properties. Some of them are vacant lots that I bought to speculate on, but the vast majority are cash flowing rental properties. And I only have 4 mortgages right now. All have come in the last 4 years. I bought 50 houses without a single mortgage. Over 50 houses. I probably bought and sold myself around 100 to 150 houses without the use of a single mortgage.
Yeah, that's bonkers. So something that always comes across my social media stuff is tends to be real estate moguls. And a lot of it, at least from my perspective, a lot of it is like guys in suits, kind of sleazy. They sort of remind you of like the lawyer type. Yeah, there you go. For our audio listeners, let's just say Joe's making a sign. We'll call it sign language.
Some kind of hand gesture.
Some kind of hand gesture. Yeah. Some
hanky,
kind of hand gesture.
hanky.
Sure, that's a really nice way to put it for our audio listeners.
Yes.
For the creeps, they obviously can see what's going on.
They know what I'm doing.
Yeah. The creeps.
I'm sure they're aware. Yeah, I'm sure they're aware. So I find it kind of interesting because I found you through the algorithm because I am somebody who's interested in real estate. I do get like the Grant Cardone types, the Chris Crone types, these real estate moguls who dress nice, fancy cars, the whole deal. And then there was you that came in, and you are not those things. And that immediately piqued my interest because you're kind of everything that they're not. And I think that's awesome. So a lot of people want to know nowadays, how does somebody make money in real estate? How do they make a fortune? And what sort of story did they have to get there? So for you, let's start at the beginning. Let's go all the way back. We're going to start with your childhood. So I know your origins, but let's get into it. So where were you born? What was your childhood like?
Well, I'll tell you where. Did you tell Corey where I was born? Because if not, I want you to guess, Corey. Where
I told you, Corey.
Did you? I don't listen.
Hey,
yet, so.
Dude, this shit is not good for the old memory, but it's great for everything else.
Okay, I'm not going to guess. You tell me. In a van? Were you born in a van?
I wasn't that cool. Pretty close. I wish I had. I might have been conceived in one. You never know. But I was born in Papua New Guinea. My parents were missionaries to tribes over there in Ukarumpa that were eating each other 2 generations prior. These were longtime headhunters and cannibals, man, and they lived in huts. I was born in a little like single wide rundown trailer that was dropped off there. And to put it in perspective, when I was born, they took the placenta outside and threw it in a hole. My dad delivered me. I almost died in childbirth. Complications. My dad had to pull me out with the forceps, an unapproved medical technique in Ukarumpa, Papua New Guinea. And my entire life has been a fight ever since. My dad was a medical doctor, man, believe it or not. He was never really concerned with money. He wouldn't get paid shit over there. And he took a residency in Rockford, Illinois, where they lived for a while. And then they eventually came down to MCG. That's how we got to Augusta. And I'm a Richmond County boy. You know, I'm a real rough and tumble guy, but I'm the only one like this in my family. Like, I come from a pretty, well, I'm not going to say normal. Everybody in my family is an absolute stud. I did not know that until I left and have been all around the world. But everybody in my family is a stud. My dad was a sub 3-hour marathon runner. My mother has a black belt in American kickboxing and has the ESPN app installed with notifications. She road tripped to the national championship game on 3 days' notice and watched Bama lose to Georgia the first time. Like, we're all nuts. She's 72 and she's still going like that.
Wow.
Your brother too. Your brother is a lawyer, right?
My brother is partner at Alston and Bird. I hope he doesn't mind me saying that. But he is partner in Alston and Bird. That was a company that defended Apple in the San Bernardino iPhone shooting. He does intellectual property law, data privacy stuff. He's a very secretive individual. I don't know what all he does, but he's up to something. So
shout out to your brother.
My brother Tim is an absolute stud. My brother Tim, let me give him a shout out. He wrote a book and was the first van lifer. He spent 9 months in a Volkswagen bus he built himself, touring the U.S., getting vendors for his online startup, Ungrocery, and wrote a book about it, dude. And read the book. I'm telling you, it's called Top Dead Center. You got to read it. It's phenomenal.
That's awesome.
That sounds good.
My Uncle Paul's a national champion kickboxer, was in the Guinness Book of World Records for skateboarding. He's also a pretty renowned mosaic artist. Look him up, New School Mosaics, Paul Pierman. Axl Rose has 7 of his belt buckles. Rolling Stone, So
wow.
I come from a kind of interesting family.
Yeah.
But I didn't do. People don't get it. I grew up there. We didn't have a TV. We went to church and we were outdoors. Like, we were we were raised like we was in the 50s, dude. Looking back on it, my whole life, I've really just wanted to be fucking cool. Like, I never really gave a shit about school. It just seemed like a bunch of bullshit to me. It always has. It's always been a fucking game to me. Like, in retrospect, I've seen through their fucking shit my whole life, and I've never cared.
Your dad obviously was pretty educated. How did he feel about something like that? You kind of questioning, like, through your childhood, just kind of questioning school and stuff like that. What was your dad's opinion?
No, my parents were on me, dude. I mean, I had great parents. Hated them growing up. Ooh, boy. I mean, very strict. Very strict. At one point in my life later on, we'll get there later, I was kicked out of my parents' house for rolling a joint of catnip. Catnip.
What were you going to do with it?
That's what, yeah. You should, yeah. Okay, Mom, I was going to smoke that shit. I mean, what? What do you mean? That's what I'm saying. Like, but
is that what's in that joint right there?
No, this is West Coast oregano.
Oregano in that
one. West Coast oregano. You know what they say, man? A quarter a day keeps the doctor away.
Yeah. There you go.
So I got a quick question around like your childhood. Like you've been quoted to say that you've always had an entrepreneurial spirit. You've always had that entrepreneurial drive. How far back does that go in your mind?
Look here, homeboy. I was selling candy to kids in middle school. Okay. And I actually, see, when I say entrepreneurial, I'm a different type of entrepreneur because I don't give a fuck about money.
Okay.
I could not tell you until now, because I looked him up, I couldn't tell you how much I've made a single year of my life. And I've never said this before in a public forum until now. Other than a small period where I had to for tax purposes, where I drew $249 a week, I have never drawn a salary of any kind out of any company that I own. And I live like a pauper. That's how I am.
Nice.
I live in a van. I'm standing in it right now. I bought this off of a guy working on his moped on Highway 56. The video's on Instagram. Look it up. I found these in a camper last week. And what I'm saying,
the jeans are the boots. The jeans are the boots.
No, you didn't see these, dude. These are. Hold on, I got a pan down, dude.
Yeah, go for it.
These are vintage joggers.
Oh, nice, with the jacket.
Oh, they're windbreakers, dude. These things are more 90s stuff than Will Smith, dog. I'm
those
telling you.
Yeah, those are good stuff.
If it's not about money, like what's it about then?
Can you say about for me one more time, sir?
Oh, Jesus.
just one more. I'll answer it. But
if it's not about money, what's it about?
A boot.
Oh boy.
If it's not about, how do you say it? About? If it's not about.
You know, it's so funny. Alex and I have this conversation all the time because she says I say things funny like window pane. And she'd be like, what'd you say?
Window.
I'd be like, window pane. About? About? That's not a word we'd say all fucked up. It's got to end in an R. If it ends in an R, nah, dog, half of it getting cut off. All right. But what is it about? I'll be honest with you, man. Well, a few things about me. One, I am highly competitive.
Okay.
Highly competitive. And this is a game everybody on earth is playing. Everybody. Whether you know it or not.
Yeah.
We're all playing. Yeah. And, you know, like, I mean, that's the thing. And in America, as a man, whether you know it or not, you are conditioned, get money, fuck bitches. That's what you're like fed in your brain. No matter what your parents teach you, that's what you were fed by American media. Get money, fuck bitches, rise to the top. That's it. And so, like, that's where we are. Like, we're competitive, and men are naturally competitive. And yeah, I am. I'm a little guy, but I'm competitive. And I'm good at winning. Like, I won a lot of shit in my life. And so, yeah, I like to compete. And two, the more money I have, the less money shitbags can have, like oil companies. This is a giant tool. And if I get a whole lot of it, I can control it. And if I control a lot of property, motherfucker, if you don't like your neighbors, just pick them. That's been a Joe Fells quote for a long time. Where I'm parked right now, I own 22 houses in that neighborhood. I got a neighborhood watch built in. It's called having a village. And then, lastly, I think God lets me get blessed with money because he knows I'm not driven by the love of money. And if I ever get some, I'll do something great with it. Like, I don't know, buy 1,000 acres of rainforest and employ the indigenous tribes to shoot anybody on site that goes out there. Like something crazy with it that saner, more normal minds would never do. Yeah. So, I mean, and I'm serious about that. I like just being free, man. Money's it's smoke and mirrors, guys. That's what it is. Money is just fucking smoke and mirrors. You have never comprehended this in your life, but all it takes is two people to have a bad day and hit a wrong button. If these are the presidents of two countries and all the power goes out, you ain't got no more motherfucking money. You understand? Yeah. And the only reason that money has value is because we all agree it has money. It doesn't even exist. It's literally your imagination, but we're so deep in it that you don't even know you're in it, bro. That's how deep it goes. And like, I don't know why. If you can tell, I can tell by the look on your face. I don't exist there, and I never have.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's faith, right? That's what money is.
That's kind of what I expect you to say. I expected you to say it's about gaining that freedom. So
I fucking hate money, dude. I really do. If you think about it, money has caused more bullshit than anything else. And it is the main leading destruction, or money is the main leading cause of the destruction of planet Earth. That's it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Pretty
That's
much,
what I'm saying. People are trying to, they're cutting down the rainforest to grow more cows to do what? To sell beef, to make fat people fatter? Like, what the fuck? I just can't.
Yeah.
So I'll get animated out of that because it pisses me off to no fucking end.
It's very rarely enough for people, and that's the problem, right? I wanted to talk about your competitiveness. So just to jump back to your child. No, it's all good. It's good stuff. To jump back to your childhood, because you and I talked about this when we spoke on the phone.
Yeah.
You're obviously very competitive, but you were, as a child, very prolific athlete, right?
Still, sir,
well, I see you run. Yeah, you're still an athlete. But back in the day, man, you had scholarships, right, to go to school.
So I had a chance to. I never had an athletic scholarship. I had 2 academic scholarships that I went to University of Georgia on. When I was in high school, I was a standout wrestler. I also, no lie, was our starting nose guard at 5'4", 140-ish pounds. And I was a starter on the varsity of the football team too. And I was a scrapper, dog. Everybody knew it. I had a chance to wrestle in college. Coach Lade got me an audition, and the discussion was, if you get this, you'll get a quarter ride and they'll pay for your books. And it was at UNC Chapel Hill, because that's where he wrestled. He knew somebody. And I think I didn't lose a match that year until state. I injured my shoulder, hip tossing the kid, tore my trap out a little bit. Standard shit. But I was a good wrestler. And I remember he was talking to me on Friday. He said, hey, tryouts are tomorrow. Here's where you go. And you need to be there this early for your drug tests and everything. And I was like, what do you mean? What you mean? Hey, what you talk about, Coach Lade? They think I take steroids? Shit, I wrestled 119 pounds. No. Oh, you can't smoke. Oh, I ain't even go. Nope. How preposterous. Y'all motherfuckers want me to weigh 125 pounds during college and I can't even smoke no weed? Fuck that. And I was promptly kicked out of the University of Georgia my second semester for cannabis, hash, and mushrooms.
Okay.
Lost. Yeah, man. I was. That was my first felony charges.
Oh, it was okay.
That's where I happened.
So,
dude.
All right. So that kind of gets into your story a little bit. So you mentioned first felony charges. First felony charge. How old were you at that point?
So I think I was 17. So I graduated in '04 and '05. No, class of '04, and I turned. So '04, fucking math is hard. 86. I graduated when
You'd
I
be
was
18.
17. Yeah, I was 18. So I was
Okay.
18 when that happened, man. And I remember, dude, it's so fucked up, man. I stand out. Have you ever noticed that?
Yeah.
No, not you.
Okay. And
Yes,
I've
sir.
been like this my whole life. When I was in elementary school, we had show and tell back then. You know what I brought for show and tell? A 22-pound snapping turtle that we caught in the
Okay.
creek. And back then
Nice.
we demonstrated. I brought snakes, dude. I was well known. They called me Okefenokee Joe. I mean, I always stood out. When I was 11, I caught 2 copperheads barehanded by myself at a church picnic. It was published in a family. It was published in a magazine back then. Focus on the Family. My dad did. It was a church thing. We need to find that. But
Is you holding 2 snakes?
no, yeah, I caught 2 copperheads barehanded and wasn't bit.
Yeah.
That's kind of
Wow.
Yeah, that's wild.
ironic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But man, yeah, dude. When I went to UGA, I stood out. I was in the top form. I stayed in 929 Creswell. And I tell you, it was amazing. I grew up without a TV in Augusta, Georgia, in a sheltered conservative Christian home, and I was now at the University of Georgia. I had arrived. Like, dude, it was like a 3-to-1 girl to guy ratio in the freshman class, and like a 3-to-2 hot girl to guy ratio. Dude, the goods were odd and the odds were good. Like, I mean, yeah. Man, and
It's like
Dude,
Rumspringer.
dude, it was literally the sense of, like, I'm kind of tripping back a little bit thinking about it, man. I haven't thought about this stuff in years. Like, I really haven't. I haven't thought about this part of it in years, guys. And so, like, it was a sense of freedom like I'd never known, exhilarating. I've been grinding my whole motherfucking life. When I was 15, I used to wake up at night at 12, 1, 2 in the morning, just bursting with energy. And I just go run around the neighborhood, literally. And one night my dad had a premonition, like, hey, let me go check on my son. He woke up, and I have kids now. We've all done it. I do it. And he came down and I was gone. Now we're talking, this is in 2002, And I know why he was freaking the fuck out. You go down there with a bad gut feeling your kid's gone. There's no cell phones or nothing, no word, no. And then I come back, I was just on a run. What's wrong, Dad? And he's freaking out. They started taking me to psychiatrists around that time.
At least you didn't come back with snakes on that one.
And man, so like I've been, fucking training and wrestling and working. I graduated number 9 in my class. I went to UGA on 2 academic scholarships. I was not a very driven student, but I was always training or doing something. I went to the governor's honors program when I was a junior. That's one of the most prestigious things you can do academically in high school. They send you to Valdosta State to college for a summer. Look it up, and you'll see what I'm talking about. I mean, it was a pretty big deal. And so I really never even thought about all that shit. It just kind of hit my shoulder and rolled off. It really, like, in retrospect, my whole life, I never really felt like I was doing anything. I don't know, maybe because I was the black sheep of my family. I definitely was and still am. And, if I just had a clean slate, I only knew a few people, it was a clean slate. I could be whoever I wanted to be. And I have always just wanted to be fucking cool. And it's hard when you're the church family.
Yeah.
But at Westside High School, the Fells brothers, me and Tim, I mean, we were like, they knew us. I mean, we were popular in high school. I got 2 senior superlatives. The rule is you can only get 1, but I was given 2 awards for most talkative and class clown.
Really?
There was no, I mean, the results were unanimous. I mean, there was no second place. It was 100.
You got your felony charge when you were 18, your first one. Did that lead to any prison time, or what happened with that?
No, I pled first offender on that. And I wound up getting probation. First offender is 5 years probation. If I would have completed it, clean slate, type deal. I had a good attorney, and I mean, it was weed and hash and mushrooms. Like, who gives a fuck? These are called plants, dog.
Yeah. Nowadays it'd be absolutely, well,
Well,
maybe not so much in some states, but yeah, it wouldn't be such a big deal.
well, I'd like to point something out though. They're wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, they're
Yeah,
just
I
all
agree.
wrong. Like
Yeah.
during the Salem witch trials, they thought they were right, and during slavery, they thought they were right, and during the Spanish Inquisition, they thought they were right, but they were just fucking wrong. And all it took was
Yeah.
a little bit of time. And look,
Yeah.
hey, they're fucking wrong. I'm telling you, just wait for a few more old white guys to die. Duh.
So what was your second charge? So just to give people an idea, there's more than one. So we'll get into, I don't know if we'll get into each one, but we'll kind of go down the timeline a little bit.
So that one, I think the next one, and I'm going to go ahead and say, for the things I've been charged with criminally, except for one possible exception, I have never committed a goddamn crime. Not in my mind. I'm just here to tell you, like, I really haven't. I've never done anything to anyone. What I have done has literally, what I did would literally be considered minding your own fucking business in most parts of the world. Like, yeah, the next time I got in trouble was the only time that I ever really did anything bad. And I felt terrible about this. I have made amends for it. I went out to the church and I stroked him a check. I looked the pastor in the eye. She didn't even know who I was. It was a different pastor. I've made this more than right, but I have felt so bad about it because it's literally, like, in my mind, the only sin I've ever committed to this level. Like, I shouldn't have done this, man. Like, I did wrong to a place that was so good to me. It was a church campground out there in Lincoln County that I grew up going to, and it was closed. The Corps engineers, the fucking government, didn't renew their lease. And so, they were going to tear down the A-frames and everything. And so we just went out there and we were partying, and we got really hammered. And we went and we shot a fire extinguisher off in one of the A-frames. His old raggedy A-frame, condemned to be tore down. But, like, we vandalized this place. We kicked in a door. Nothing terrible, but that was it. And there was a family reunion coming out there the next day. It just so happened they got there. Cars are all there. They called the cops. I get arrested. But that was just misdemeanors. Dude, and those cops were good, man. Like, I'll be honest. They were good. They let us load up in the car. And one of the girls named Ashley, they let her drive and follow them to jail. So we didn't have to pay to get the car towed. I mean, like, in
That's
retrospect,
pretty nice cop.
Yeah, and I remember he looked at us, he says, "Guys, I'm doing this because I got a daughter. And I'd want him to give him this option. Do not run." And we were all like, I've run from the cops 5 times on foot and only been caught twice. Fuck them. Like, man, the next one was probably the biggest crock of shit you'd ever see in your life. But I was smoking weed and drinking beer at a place known as Hippies Cove out there in South, out there at Clark Hill, Lake Thurman, whatever the fuck they call it now. And the DNR, the Federal Enforcement Division, was watching me with binoculars from a boat.
Okay.
They pulled up on
drinking.
me. But literally, it's just me and my girlfriend. Literally.
Yeah.
It was like,
Nothing better to do.
Okay, literally. And we had more than an ounce of cannabis. Why? I mean, duh. Like, you get punished. Like, it's cheaper that way. What do you mean? Duh. Like, fuck.
Yeah. If they had waited an hour, it would have been less than an ounce.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, literally, we're sitting there, and those fucking ass clowns waited for me to go down. They literally, this is what did those fucking ass clowns. I went down and I jumped in the water and I cooled off. It was in May or July. It was in the summertime. It's hot down south now. And I went and I sat on a rock. I was sitting on a rock and I had a towel. I took a towel, I wrapped it around me, and I took my shorts off and I wrung them out and I'm sitting them on this rock to dry. And I'm sitting them like that. And these motherfuckers pull up on me in a boat. Well, and and they literally got out and said, "Where's the dope? What are you doing?" What do you mean? What am I doing? I'm fucking. I'm sitting in the sun on the bank of the lake. Like, what? Fuck you, man. Like I didn't tell him that. I was scared shitless. Like, dude, that's the thing. I'm an 18. Dude, you think about it, I'm an 18-year-old kid, drunk off my ass, fucking swimming in the lake. Like, I'm literally minding my own fucking business to the nth degree. And they are sitting out there with binoculars watching me. Now, look at this. There's a fucking guy enjoying life and swimming in the lake, and here's your tax dollars at work watching you like the fucking Gestapo.
Yeah. Paying the peeping Toms.
Yeah.
Dude, it blows my mind. It's the most unjust fucking crock of shit I've ever thought about, dude. And this is the type of shit that stole my innocence, man. Like, I was a real tender-hearted Southern boy now, and you can tell by talking to me, I'm a lot to fuck with right now, man. I mean, yeah. And like, because, dude, like, if you take a dog when he's young and you fucking kick him a lot, he's going to be mean when he gets older, I promise. And he's not going to give a fuck about your feelings. And, man, when you've been treated like that by these people, fuck them. And so, well, if you pull up on me in a boat and tell me you're going to take me to jail, what do you think I do? I looked at this fucking sack of shit cop behind me and I said, beat your feet, motherfucker. Dude. And so I took off and I ran. I was coming up this hill and my daddy always taught me, pass them on the hill, son. That's a Fells thing. We run hills. We do not run on flat ground. We're not pussies. And I coming on this hill, and I was like, oh, boy, Smokey ain't going to give me him. And goddamn, I kicked my sandals off, and I scooped them up like that. And he said, don't do it. I said, fuck you. And I took off. And I got in my car. And when I hit I got my car, was so drunk, man. I pulled right off the thing, and I went down. I pulled out of the parking lot, and I went out, and I was like, oh, shit, dude. You just ran from the cops. Like, oh, fuck. And I was like, I pulled off immediately and went down and pulled off in the woods and passed out. And I had a boat. I did not know they also had a helicopter. That was a good move. Oh. It's a real good move.
It's a veteran move right there. So what are we up to? 3? Is that 3 or 4? I lost count. But
man, I had another I think like a little minor of possession, another little misdemeanor charge or something stupid. It was dumb, probation violation. But then the big one, the last one happened prophetically out there in Lincoln County, the same place. We weren't at the church campground. It was down here. We passed it and went on down the road to the dead end. We're dead into the lake. And that's where it happened. We were in a pretty bad car accident and they went to take me to jail. I called my mama, man. It's one of the most heart-wrenching times in my life, dude. I called my mama, and I remember telling her, I said, I was talking to her. So Rebecca had, she had quit breathing, man. I'd given her mouth-to-mouth and everything, and I took her to this dude's house, and just some stranger's house in Lincolnton, man. And, it's fucking, I don't know what time it is. I have no shirt on. I'm half drunk. And I don't know. I don't fucking know. She's not breathing. I gave her mouth to mouth. She won't breathe and call the cops and dude, it's fucking nuts. They get there. They're taking her off in the thing. Can I use your phone? I call my mom and I tell them what happened. I remember I had a test in political science at Augusta State the next day. That's where my brain was. If that tells you anything. That's what I was so concerned about. And said they said, hey, you got to come take a breath with us. I said, okay, mama, I got to take a blow test. I'll call you back. I love you. I didn't talk to her for almost 2 years. And man, I remember they went. I blew a .06. A .06. Once again, I didn't fucking do anything. And I'll never forget, man. They said, come with me. And I said, okay. And he took me over to the car. And then he kind of, oh, shit, what? And he said, and he grabbed my hands. And And I knew what it was. And that dude guy, I don't know if you've ever had that feeling before. Man, I was on probation. I was already on probation in I was out on motherfucking bond in South Carolina on felony dope charges. I'm already on felony probation. If that gets revoked, that's 3. Shit, man. Nah, dog, can't go down like that. Not me. You gonna catch me? You gonna have to beat your feet, fat boy. Boom! As soon as he went to grab for them fucking cuffs, I bucked. And I'll never forget, it was starting to sprinkle. And I remember 5 cop cars being there. 5 cop cars, an ambulance, and a goddamn fucking fire truck. And I'll never forget, I went boom, and I took off, and I slipped, and I fell. I was barefooted. No shirt, barefooted. And they started laughing, and I got up, and I fell again. And I remember this, where you gonna go, boy? Don't run. And I said, fuck it, gotta go. And I took off. Just for time's sake, I'm not going to tell you the whole story of that night, but I ran 20-something miles that night and got a ride home in the most insane way imaginable.
Okay.
Like the things in the sprinting across an open field in the moonlight because you think the dogs are chasing you and not seeing the barbed wire fence. Shit like that. And just, it was pretty nuts. And I was 19. And I ran away that night, and I had $7 and a mini Bic lighter in my pocket, and that was it.
Did you leave town?
I was in Kentucky 3 days later.
Wow.
And you were on the run for how long?
So that was September. I want to say September, and they caught me 2 days. So let's see, that was September of 2007, I believe. And they caught me 2 days after my 21st birthday. So it's around 20 months, man.
Wow.
And I was a fugitive, man.
What was that? Like, what was that feeling like? Like that experience of just.
I'm going to
being a
tell you
fugitive.
something, guys. I'm going to put this in perspective for you. Have you ever run a marathon?
Yeah, short one.
You were
Nope. 0.5.
What'd you?
No.
A half marathon? Well, here's
No,
what
I'd probably run a 5K. Yeah, like
all right.
when I was younger.
So you have in your head a conception of what it feels like to run 26 miles without stopping, but you have no fucking clue, is what I'm going to tell you. Just like everybody who ever stepped in the ring with Conor McGregor thought they knew what it would be like to be in there with him until they woke up unconscious.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I cannot tell you. I'm writing the book now, and I just call it the dreads. Like, I cannot describe. Have you ever had anxiety? Anybody ever had a panic attack? You ever had one that's fucking real? Like,
Probably
that's
not.
what I'm trying to tell you. Have you ever had one that was real? I'm literally running for my fucking life, and everything that I know and love is gone, and I'm alone.
Mm-hmm.
And I have nothing. And there's people looking for me.
Did it feel like that the whole time? Or was that something you got over?
Here's what I'm going to tell you, man. Being a fugitive is you can get no rest. Anytime, the feeling of, dude, it would happen sometimes. I had some good times, man. I hit some licks. I worked hard. That's when I got in trade work. Really. That's kind of ironic that I'm an investor through trade work. But I you know how it feels on a Friday afternoon on a sunny fall day, beautiful weather, you got paid, you got some money in the bank, motherfucking 50 Cent is playing on the radio. You know what I mean? And you just driving down the road, and it's like a good day and you're feeling good. I get that sometimes, and then all of a sudden it hits you. You have no hope. You don't exist. I mean, that was it. Like, you have no hope. You can't like, I'm a wanted man. I don't have a driver's license. At any point, if I need any essential service, I'm fucked. I can go to the hospital.
Yeah.
I was terrified to
Right.
go get my I was out on bond, bounty hunters. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, like, you know,
Yeah.
I never had anyone look for me that I noticed, but I was on felony bond. It's $5,000 on my head, dog. I mean, that was a lot of money. You know, shit, I'd go find your ass for $5,000 right now, Cletus. Shit. Get in his van. But it's miserable, man. And just like I said, imagine a panic attack that's real, and contemplating yourself. This is a knowing that I feel terrible and the feeling is valid and proper.
Mhm.
And dude, I ran away. I jumped. My parents bonded me out of jail, and I ran away and wasn't turning myself in. They put their house up, and I'm dipping. Like, you got to understand. Like I told you, I didn't fucking do anything. I just, in some chivalrous notion. Why? What? Why? Why? You're a fucking idiot, Joe. But man, that's one of my strengths and also one of my weaknesses, man, is when I do something, I go all in. And if I love somebody, I don't give a fuck. Like, that's how I am, dude. I'm a very intense person. I probably didn't have to tell you that, but I mean, it was the only option at that time. Your woman's getting, you know, you can't, you got to take that on the chin, big dog. And, man, just tough. It's tough. I cried a lot those days. It was dark days, man. I got into pills. I mean, I did a lot of drugs. Yeah.
I'm
I
sure.
mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Did you
I
have a hard
drank.
time trusting people during that time? Like you'd almost think that everybody could be somebody who's trying to maybe take you down, turn you in, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like while you're on the run. Yeah.
Fuck yeah, man. Like, dude, going to the grocery store. I
Yeah.
mean, that's what I'm saying. You don't understand. You wear a hat everywhere and sunglasses, and you're just a nobody. You know, that's what I'm saying. You ain't going nowhere unless it looks like the pleasure barge off of fucking Star Wars. You know what I mean? Like, like, you're not going to places that are above board, man. And you just kind of blend into the part of society that's a throwaway, man. I was a throwaway. I was a fugitive, man. Less than a few years prior, I was at UGA on 2 full ride scholarships with a bank account, a car. I mean, everything. I was popular as an athlete, and I'm on the run from the motherfucking law.
Crazy.
You want to talk about a stark? And all I was a barefooted country boy. I was out there at the lake drinking, having fun.
Yeah.
And like I said, I never did anything dumb or like, except one. I wasn't out there acting a goddamn fool. I wasn't doing shit.
So what was the point where you were caught or turned yourself in? So after the 20 months.
Man, I got caught. I run from them again. I'll never forget when I took off that time when they went to pull me over in that car. I got pulled over in a church parking lot, and they caught me in a church parking lot. Here's a Joe Fells saying. You could quote this. It's probably just a coincidence, just like everything else in my motherfucking life. But I got pulled over that church parking lot, and I slowed down, and I put that old cutlass, I put it at neutral, and I left it rolling right at that church, and I jumped out that door and gave them some shit to worry about, and I took off. Gone. And
Did you have an alias, like a different name at that time that you were going by?
Jay?
Jay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, people call me
Yeah,
Jay.
cool.
I mean, Jay. That's really, yeah.
Did you stay in Kentucky the whole time, or did you go to different
No,
states?
I came back to Georgia not long after. Kentucky's a Commonwealth state. I don't know if it is now. At the time, it was. Bounty hunters can't go there, so it made sense.
Okay, makes sense. Did you have any close calls, like in that 20-month period where you almost got caught?
I ran from the police 3 times. So I ran from them 3 times in that period. And they caught me that last time.
What was that like? Where they actually took you down?
I hate losing, dog. Hey, but like I said, I can beat. Like, I'm telling you, And policemen, they're public servants. A lot of them come from, some of the worst parts of society. Like, they really do, man. And they're all just people like me when they go home and take their costume off. I mean, and I dragged the shit out of the vast majority of them. But when there's 14 of them and they have fucking radios, it's kind of hard, big dog. And I zigged when I should have zagged, man. They caught me in a church parking lot. I'll never forget sitting in the back of that cruiser, man. I was sitting there like this. They were like, "What's your name?" "Fuck you." "What's your name?" I just looked at him. "What's your name?" "Shut the door." "What's your name?" "Shut your name. Shut the door, please."
So you did have an alias.
No, yeah, hey, take me to jail, dog. You gonna find out who I am when we get there. Just take me to jail, motherfucker. There ain't nothing for us to talk about here.
Did you have any relief when you were caught? I've read that from people that sometimes like people who commit murder or something have a relief when they get caught eventually.
Well, I'm gonna tell you yes and no. Yes, I did feel relief. But the brain has an amazing way of coming up with coping strategies to keep you from hanging yourself. Like I'm gonna tell you, hey, let me find the pros in this prison cell. I mean, yeah, man, like there was a sense of relief, kind of like, I don't know, the sense of relief you feel when you take one massive diarrhea and you have a bunch more behind it. I mean, like, oh boy, that felt great. That was a great kidney stone. Can't wait to get the rest of them out. Fuck, I mean,
yeah,
So yeah, I did, man. I'll never forget. That's what I did. I went and I remember I was reading a book called The House of Sand and Fog by Andre Dubois. Right
good
there.
book.
You read it? That's what I was reading. The most memorable book I read. I had so many chemicals in my system. I had to spend the first 72 hours in the butt naked cell. Fuck. God, guys. That's tough. And you wonder how I'm such a fucking savage. Now that I'm talking about it, well, goddamn. What the fuck do you expect? You chased me. I was a creature, man. And I remember, I come off of fucking heroin and pills of all benzodiazepines, hard withdrawals in a butt naked cell for 72 hours in a suicide smock. It's a fucking padded cell, right? All the way around. It's a padded cubicle, like an 8x10. There is nothing in this except a hole in the floor with a grate in it for you to shit in. They keep it 68 degrees, and all you are given is a suicide smock, which is specifically designed for this one purpose. If you're going to kill yourself, you're going to do it wearing this, buddy. It's going to drive you crazy. You cannot in no way, shape, or form get completely comfortable. There's always cold air hitting you at all hours. They give you a blanket at 10 p.m. and they take it away at 6. And they come, and 3 times a day, your fucking food is put through a fucking port at the door, and then they're given that. If you have to shit, you just go shit in the hole, and you have to go beat on the door until they flush it, and they never are in a hurry.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to jail.
So that was your that was where you detoxed, basically, or I guess started a detox.
That's tough, man.
That's tough.
It's tough.
That's pretty fucked up. So after the 3 days of that, what happened to you? Where did you go?
Then I went to CMAX, which is single cell. You're in there by yourself. It's just a regular dorm, man. I think it was 2 or 3 tier cells, and you're just there by yourself. And I was there for a month, just in isolation. Then they put me in Gen Pop, in Columbia County. Now, I will say this. If you have to pick a jail, I would highly recommend Columbia County. The butt naked wing was not very nice, but the rest of it was, by jails go pretty fucking nice. Like, I'll be honest with you, I gained like 40 pounds in 9 months. I was a porker when I hit the chain gang, dog. I'm telling you. I remember they had these little drink fountains over on the side with a little thing that shot it up and it trickled down on the sides. You can go over there and fill up your little cups, and you could smoke cigs. And the sheriff over there, I think it was Clay Whittle. I don't know. He's an asshole, whoever he is, but he had a good theory. he said, I will never tell them they can't smoke cigarettes as long as I smoke cigarettes. And he had a point. If motherfuckers are in jail, at least let them smoke cigs. It'll keep them from stabbing each other, you fucking assholes. Like, god damn.
Yeah.
So it was pretty chill. Like, we ate really well, dude. And it was pretty cush. There weren't any fights. Like, I mean, it was laid back. It was like a day camp where I was. And then they shipped me out, man. I got a 15-5. 15 years, 10, 5 in and 10 on probation. And they coming to ship me out, dog. They don't tell you when you're sentenced. Man, I'll never forget being sentenced. Oh. Text Alex, get me another beer, please.
Needed it.
Need it for this one?
Tough.
Well, while you wait for that beer, did you have, and we haven't really talked about any type of a trial. You're obviously talking about sentencing. What was your trial like? Did you have a trial?
Man, let me just go on and tell you. I remember talking about public defender the first time. And that's a big thing in jail. Oh, your lawyer's coming. Oh shit. So like it's the equivalent of a conjugal visit, dog. You know, they give your public defender showed up. God damn, it's like daddy coming home in jail. Anyways, I fucking went to see him and he I remember he sat down. His name was David Brunker, blonde guy, really a pretty good guy, but bless his heart, he looked at the file and he said, all right, sir, I see here you're on probation for 3 felonies here. You're on bond for a drug felony here. And here you were pulled over. You got out with the bag. You ran with the bag. You got caught with the bag. It was full of drugs. How may I help you? That's what he did. And I was like, can you give me a plea bargain? He was like, that's what I was thinking. Like yeah, man.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I was looking at 55 years with all, you know, that was the max they could sentence me to.
55 years. That's nuts.
My uncle actually got me 2 years knocked off of my sentence, man. I can't tell you that one. He did, but my Uncle Paul, I just want to credit him there. He got 2 years knocked off my sentence. I'll be forever grateful. You know, he's an asshole and we butt heads a lot. But he did, man. He showed up when it mattered. I'll give him that.
So just for our audience, how much time did you actually spend in jail? So you got sentenced, obviously. Maybe we can circle back to your sentencing after you get a drink. But how long did you actually get sentenced for? How much time did you do in jail?
I did 30 months in total. I did 9 months in jail and then 20 months in the chain gang. Chain gang prison. Sorry, that's a southern terminology. And the more these I drink, the more southern I sound. You know?
Sorry.
When you're talking about prison, sounding southern kind of helps. You know.
Yeah. So 30 months total in prison.
Hey,
you got your beer coming?
Come
Here comes your beer.
You okay?
Yeah. Hey, how much weed's in those lemon things?
What, the bars?
Yeah.
Do you want us to cut this part out?
No.
Hey, Alex, nice to meet you.
What'd you
Hi,
say?
Alex, nice to meet you.
It said how much weed's in the lemon things.
Look at me. Enough? I don't know. That was a trial batch. Literally, he doesn't know.
Okay.
Literally.
There's a lot in there.
And that you can't taste it either, can you?
No, it's delicious.
I know, but you
It's so
can't taste
good.
the weed. That's the whole thing. He doesn't know how strong they are. That's why he gave it. Are they strong? DJ Stilts, Portis, home run. Oh.
Nice to meet you,
Hey.
Alex.
Nice to meet you, Alex.
Have fun. Enjoy that night.
Yeah, that's going to be a
See you in
fun
a little
one.
while.
Okay.
Thank you, baby. Hey, Anthony Portis, you just got a shout out, dog. You're gonna love that. That's going in your fucking portfolio.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's funny. I've completely lost track. Go ahead, Corey.
Did you I'm curious, like, if you met anyone in prison that was like, I don't know, either inspiring or someone that scared the shit out of you. Like, what was the craziest experience you had in there?
So there were, the craziest experience or the craziest person?
Whichever, whatever you want to talk about. I'm just curious about your experience.
I'll tell you about the craziest experience. That was the full scale riot